So yesterday I was bored on Minecraft and I decided to make an old school RuneScape account instead. I wanted the name VEPOH and it was actually available, so I took that and I started my new journey. I chose a female character, gave it some nice clothes, and this is VEPOH. Now I had to make my way off Tutorial Island, and the first stop was this woman who gave me my fishing net, my first item. So I ran to the water to test it and got shrimp. Next, I had to chop this tree down. I think chopping wood is my favourite thing to do in this game. I started a fire, cooked some shrimp on it, then upgraded to an actual stove. I learned about quests, swung a pick at these rocks, smelted something, made something, nearly died to this rat, but I killed it first. I tried using a bow instead, but I hit a million zeros and did not enjoy that at all. Next, I had to learn how to pray, which is probably the only thing that will get me through this game anyway. I threw a snowball at a chicken, and then I locked in my fate as a hardcore iron woman. The first step is to put on my fancy hardcore Iron Man armor, of course. Then I headed into the castle because, I don't know, it seemed like the right thing to do. I saw some trees that needed chopping, so that's how I started my game. I found this activity advisor thing and it told me to do cook's assistant, so I spoke to this chef and he sent me on a quest to get ingredients. I nearly ran this way out of the back of the castle, but the rats and the goblins scared me, so I said fuck that and went the other way. The first step was tugging the udders of this cow to get some milk. Had to pick up this chicken egg and steal some of this glowing corn. I thought that goblin was going to kill me for it, had a bit of panic there, but all's okay. Then I threw it in this big hole here, pulled these shafts together, then a flurry powder was waiting for me at the bottom. I took this stuff back to the chef and he gave me some rewards, and that was my first quest done. My next quest was simple. I had to buy a spade, dig here, get a treasure map, dig again, and I got an orb which makes a funny sound. It told me to dig here, then here, and I finally got a casket. I had to give the loot to this feckin' guy. When I was banking after that quest, I realised I had a clue scroll, and I wanted to do that next. I had to talk to this guy, and he just gave me another clue step. For it, I had to pay to go through this gate just so I could do an emote here. Then I had to go to Charlie and Varric. I was way too scared to go to Varric, so I went to fish some shrimp instead. And I did a bit of mining because I want to be able to do shooting stars soon. But when I was running back to the bank, I wasn't looking and this rat started attacking me. Guess that's my first fight in the hardcore. But I just ran away from it and it was all good. I made my way to Charlie. He wanted a raw trout from me. I can't do that yet, so I just did Romeo and Juliet instead. Juliet gave me a letter for Romeo, but he didn't have a clue what to do with it. Told me to speak to this guy in the church. Spoke to him, picked some berries, made a sus cocktail which she drank. I think she like fake died or something, but anyway, that was the quest done. All I got was 5 points for it. Next I sheared some sheep. I used their wool to make some balls, all because this farmer wanted 20 balls from me. Now I needed to finish that clue scroll so I could actually log off happy. I needed to get 20 fishing to get this raw trout, so I had to fish shrimp. A hell of a lot of shrimp. I cooked some, burnt some, fished more. Honestly, it was never ending shrimp catching. I got so damn bored of it that I talked to this person. They let me leave here on a boat just to do another quest. I was a bit mad because this guy went around killing everyone, so I tried to kill him with this mirror. Turns out it was this girl. She killed her boyfriend, tried to kill her, and this girl saved my life. It was madness. I still wasn't ready to fish more shrimp, so I did Restless Ghost instead. I had to run away from this skeleton, which was quite scary, but I got some prayer XP, which was nice. And finally, we're back to fishing shrimp. More shrimp, even more shrimp, and finally, we hit 20. So I bought a fly fishing rod and feathers, and I went to fish that damn trout for Charlie. I took it to Charlie, and he gave me a casket, and you know what was in it? Day 2 on Old School, I started by chopping trees at Varric. I think I'm going to do Wintertodt soon, so I need to get my fire making levels up for that. I thought chopping and burning wood was going to be my best way to do this. I lost count of how many full inventories of logs I had to burn, and while I was here chopping trees, this guy got mad at me because I was cutting down his trees. Apparently he runs this spot. I didn't realise that you could own the trees in Gilnor. I can't be asked with players like this, so I just ignored him and I got my wood. But he followed me over here because apparently it's also his fire lighting spot. Anyway, when I got to here, I thought this guard had started attacking me and that was my health bar going down. I freaked out and ran away, and then I realised it wasn't. And look who it is again. He said no one wants to be his friend, and for the life of me, I can't figure out why that would be. I told him his breath stinks, and then I went back to ignoring him. And on the complete other end of the player spectrum, this guy came over and gave me a bond for no reason. I'm not going to say no to that. I said thank you to him and he told me to learn how to spell. Then I got my first random event, which was the frogs. I kissed this one with a crown and it turned into a woodcutter. Then I decided that I was sick of seeing wood, so I wanted to take a break from chopping and burning. I needed 50 fire making to do Todd, and I'm still so far off that with only 22. So instead I used the bond that this guy gave me and became a member. This meant that I could finally leave World 301, and it opened up so many more skills for me to train. I really wanted to up my agility levels because I've been so sick of walking all over the damn world. But first there was a fallen star in Varric, so I went to check that out. Once it was level 1, I was able to sit here and mine it for
ages. But that's the best part about RuneScape, isn't it? Just having XP roll in while you sit there and do absolutely nothing. I think I went up 4 levels just from that 1 star, which is lovely. Anyway, then it was time to click on the rooftops. But first I had to do the gnome agility course, so I decided to take the boat from Remington to Ardee to get there. But on the way there, I decided to do rune mysteries. I feel like I'm forever getting sidetracked in this game. Even on the way out of the castle, I got sidetracked into upgrading my wood chopping axe. Anyway, I walked all the way to the wizard's tower. I spoke to this person that they keep in the basement, and then I walked all the way back to Varric to talk to someone called Aubrey, and then all the way back to the wizard's tower for basement guy again. And that was Rune Mysteries finished. Finally, I got the boat and made my way to Ardee. And speaking of getting sidetracked, here I am stealing from some cakes from this baker because I was passing the stalls. I thought it would be handy anyway to have some food banked for Wintertodd. During this, some absolute idiot thought it would be funny to prank me. Scared the living daylights out of me. I thought my hardcore was absolutely going in the bin there. My Twitch chat had told me that this was the safe spot, so I thought I couldn't move outside this square or else that guy was going to end me. It took me a minute to realise that this was just a shit joke. Anyway, I just kept doing this until I could steal from the silk stalls. Apparently you can make money that way, and I am beyond broke. I know somebody gets the piss taken out of him because he died at silks on his hardcore, so I was determined not to lose mine here. I was damn careful of these guards, and when they weren't watching, I stole a whole lot of silk. I banked it all and then made my way to the gnome stronghold. After enough laps around this course to get me 10 agility, I was finally ready to do rooftops. So that's how I spent the next few hours of my night, clicking these green shapes over and over and over again until I reached level 20. Then I realised I actually couldn't log off because I was only 189 total levels, so I chopped more wood until 190. Then I toyed with the idea of going to 200, but that's just how this game gets you, so I broke free from that and I clicked log out for the night. So day 3 on the hardcore started exactly how day 2 finished. More damn rooftops. I finally started to get some marks of grace, which is hopefully going to unlock the Go Faster outfit for me soon enough. My plan was just to stay here until I unlocked Varric rooftop course at 30 agility. Apparently that's going to be my quickest way to get that fancy outfit I need. But clicking rooftops is boring as all hell for me, so I checked if I could do any quests in the meantime. Witch's Potion seemed easy enough. I only needed an onion, burnt meat, and an eye of newt, and apparently I could buy all these things or make them. So I got 26 agility, and then I went off questing for a while. So I bought a small eyeball from this person, and then was wanting to do Wintertodd. I have to keep my health low, so I couldn't fight for my meat. I had to buy it instead. Then I went to this wee kitchen here to cook it, but I left not realising that it had to be cooked twice for it to be burnt meat. So I went back to burn it, but didn't I accidentally click it and eat it instead of using it on the furnace? So after another trip to the meat shop and the furnace, I finally had all the things I needed for this quest. I went to talk to this witch, but actually I did have to kill this rat for its tail, but luckily it didn't level up my health. I gave them to the witch, and that was a very easy quest finished. Next up, I wanted to start Recipe for Disaster. So I swung my axe, got the logs, lit them on fire, and waited for the white powder to fall on the floor. I needed to buy another small eyeball. I really didn't have much money here, so I sold some of the logs that I just chopped to this general store. Just enough to get me to Ardee again, and then I sold some of my silk from the previous day. I ran to the gnome stronghold again to take a cocktail making class. Visited this guy close by as well to buy some beer. Then I used this home teleport, which I didn't realise that I had before. It took me back to the Lumbridge Castle, and I had to talk to the cook here to complete the quest. And then I had to sit through this cutscene as well. It may as well have been a damn movie, it was that long. Doing this quest unlocked a bank in the kitchen basement though, which means no more stairs for me. At this stage, questing was tearing my soul apart a little, so I went to mine a fallen star for a while instead. It was above my level though, so while I waited I got a couple of mining levels and ticked a few things off the Varric Easy Diary. Then I was able to chill out and mine this star. After spending a while here, I still wasn't ready to face the game, so I found another fallen star and wasted another hour here. Then I felt like I should finally do something again, so I tried to do Doric's quest. I had to go down these stairs into a mine to mine some clay. I was scared of the scorpions that could kill me being down there, so I hesitated for ages, then finally went in. Saw scorpions, straight back out. I read up about scorpions and their max hit was 2. I didn't have far to go apparently, and I had lots of cake. I could do this. I went back in, ran to the clay, and not one damn scorpion attacked me that time. Then I ran back out of the mine and up to visit Doric. Another quest completed. I used this fancy home telly again, as I thought it was my quickest way to Draenor. Someone in my Twitch chat told me about a chronicle book that could take me to Varric, so I bought it and then took myself off to Varric with the intention of completing this quiz at the museum. The Quest Helper plugin made this easy. Suddenly I had an instant 900 in Slayer levels. For some bizarre reason I decided to start the dig site quest next. I don't recommend this. It involved a hell of a lot of walking, some talking, more walking, lots of walking. I hated this quest, and at the end I couldn't even finish it. I had to dig around these bones here to find something, and I think it took me about 50 digs to get what I needed. Then I realized I actually couldn't do any more of the quest because I didn't have the herblore levels. So I went back to Vara, gave this nice dog some of the bones I found at the dig site. At this stage, I didn't even care what my levels were. I was just mad and wanted out of this game. So that was me done for the night. So last time I stupidly started the dig site quest. Now starts the long road of getting to 10 herblore to actually be able to finish it. First, I went to Taverley to buy this empty bottle and herb crusher. Then I walked all the way back to the dig site. I actually forgot to use my shiny new chronicle here. I went as far as I could on the quest until I needed more herb levels to mix these two ingredients together. To even start training my herblore, I had to do another damn quest called Druidic Ritual. I visited the meat shop in Port Sarum to buy chicken meat and beef meat. I couldn't buy rat and bear meat, so I geared up ready to fight. It took me 2 whole minutes, but I eventually killed this rat and grabbed its meat. Next up was the big scary bear, and apparently at my very low level it was better to use magic, so I spent the little bit of money that I had on mind and air runes. Then it was time for my first attempt at safe spotting. Chat told me to take my armor off, and I genuinely thought they were trying to get me killed here, but then I started doing a lot more damage, and eventually the bear's meat was mine. Now I had all the meat that I needed, so I used the free teleport to the Birthwork Games room. I talked to this guy dressed as a ghost to start the quest, went to see his friend in Taverley, climbed down into this scary ass dungeon, I had to run past these skeletons, put all my meat in this pot, back past the spooky scary skeletons to the ghost in Taverley, and then I just had to talk to this guy at Stonehenge to complete the quest. After all that, my herblore level was still only level 3. It kinda infuriates me that completing one quest in this game turns into a whole 10-hour ordeal, but at the same time it's just bloody addictive, isn't it? But right now I couldn't face doing anything else, so I set that aside for another day, and I clicked rooftops to get another agility level instead. Then someone told me about the new forestry kit and minigames. I could grab the bag right here in Draenor, so I got one and then went to chop wood. It didn't seem to be doing much though. Apparently I needed to be near other people to get the minigames popping up. So I sussed out a route to Sears Village, where apparently loads of people play the forestry game. I sold some silk on the way through Ardy, panicked like hell crossing the path of these bears, but I safely got myself to Sears. I chopped wood here for a while, and it still wasn't doing anything. This is when I realised I actually needed to be on a flippin' forestry world as well. So I hopped worlds and instantly had a mini game, and it was fucking chaos. I had no idea what to do, so I just clicked random things until it ended. And unsurprisingly, I didn't get anything from doing it. Somebody told me that there was a plugin for forestry, so I made sure it was on, and the rest of the games were easy. I just had to click the things it told me to now. And for the rest of the night, that's what I did. I cut wood, clicked yellow until I hit 35 wood cutting. And then I logged out for the night. Fuck the dig site. It can wait a while. So I've decided that I really need to start prepping for Wintertodt. I need to chop and burn logs until 50 fire making to get there. During this I got a bird's nest with a clue in it. It wanted me to go to Charlie and Varric though, and after last time I'm scared of what he's going to ask for, so I banked it for now. I reached 250 total levels in the process. This was a nice notification to get. I kept doing these forestry events too, so that I can get a bag to carry my wood about in. Once I got 35 fire making, I unlocked the ability to burn teak logs, which gets me much more XP. So at that point I decided to leave Sears and find a teak cutting spot instead. Apparently Wintertodd's Baltic as well, so you have to wrap up warm. I stopped at this tree just outside Ardy on my way past and dug up some boots and gloves to take with me. And then nearby at Yaneel I dug up a cape. Now I have 3 pieces of warm clothing and you need 4, so I used the chronicle book to teleport to Varric. While I was here I checked what Charlie wanted from me this time. Thankfully it was only an iron dagger and I actually had one in my bank. But then I couldn't do the next step because I needed a red cape and a chef's hat. I bought the red cape at a shop nearby, but the chef's hat was going to be harder to get, so I left the clue in my bank again for a while. Then I completed my warm clothing set with this free scarf. Before leaving Varric, I decided to do the Daddy's Home quest so I could get construction XP while I was at Wintertodt. To do that, I had to tear this guy's house apart and then put it back together, and my least favourite skill was finally unlocked. A current default way to waste time when I don't know what to do next is apparently agility, so I ran around the Draenor rooftops for a while until I had 30 agility, and then that was me done at Draenor because now apparently I need to move to the Varric rooftops. So it was time to keep the Wintertodt prep going, I guess. Next step was cutting teaks. I used a free telly to the Castle Wars, ran past some ogres, and there's a singular teak tree here that I could cut and burn for the next many hours. I chopped logs and burn logs, chop logs and burn logs, chop, burn, chop, burn, chop, burn, chop, burn, until I was so burnt out that I alt F4'd and left the rest for another day. I left it on 47 fire making, so I'll be able to do Wintertodt very soon. Really hope I don't lose my status there. After some more chopping and some more burning and a few forestry mini games, I finally hit 50 fire making and I teleported straight out of here. Back to Lumbridge, filled my bag with cake, made my way to Port Sarum, and I got a free lift off this guy. Checked that I had all the warm clothing I needed and finally started to make my way to Wintertodt. Once I got there, I waited around for the next game to start and then started chopping. I swiftly learned to turn on Entity Hider here, fetch the logs into kindling, pop them in the green flame, and soon enough my first Wintertodt game was over. I ran out of the doors to open my box outside and my first drops were 20 pure essence and 1 uncut diamond. Put that in my bank and went straight back in. I decided to do Winter Todd 100 times, and they're all the same shit really. Some close calls, but we survived. I'm just going to show you my drops from all 100 games. Buckle up. So this is what all of my drops from 100 Winter Todd kills looks like together. I got a tome and 162 burnt pages. I got 2 pairs of gloves and 2 broom torches. I got the pyromancer top and hood. I'm missing the legs and the boots, the dragon axe, and also the pet. But 100 was my absolute limit here because doing the same minigame 100 times back to back to back has been killing me. So I went home to Lumbridge to figure out what to do next. So after 100 Winter Todd games, I went back to Lumbee, and then while I was deciding what to do next, I decided to waste my time with agility at Varrock Rooftop, and I fell off at the first hurdle. Got back on the horse or whatever the saying is, and I stayed here until 33 agility. At this point, I realised that I was actually really close to 390 total levels. So I chopped a tree, warmed my hands by the fire, made a few bars, and fished a few trouts, and 390 was achieved. At this point, I realised that I still have not finished the damn dig site quest. So I bought some vials, eyeballs, and used the herbs that I had from Todd to make my very first potion. I had a massive 5 levels, but that's still not enough to do dig site, and I couldn't make any more potions with what I had. The herblore quests were also a bit scary, so I binned off herblore in the dig site entirely for maybe the 3rd time now. Instead, I visited a bank and decided to do my clue scroll. I'd already bought the red cape, so I just needed the chef's hat for this step. I grabbed my gear and my mighty bronze sword and started the imp catcher quest. Killing imps will hopefully get me the beads for this quest and also the chef's hat drop along the way. These little shits teleport away randomly though, and I lost all my run energy so damn quickly. It took me a while to realise that actually my armour was weighing me down, and these things don't even hurt you. So I banked it, killed another imp, and it finally dropped a bead for me. It's not a chef's hat, but we need the beads anyway for the quest. So I kept on killing the imps, well, trying to, and then 15 kills in, I got a white bead. And now the quest was halfway done. Still no chef's hat though. But after a long fight with this imp, number 21, I finally got it. I put on my fancy outfit and made my way to Varrock for the clue. For the next clue step, I had to run the whole way to Port Sarum. Luckily, I can use these stepping stones now, and thankfully I got my casket here. It was huge loot. Leather chaps. 3 coins. What a waste of bloody time that was. I felt like I needed to do something that was actually going to progress my account a little bit next. I did some diary things. I talked to Hans, chopped an oak tree, lit a fire, caught anchovies in Alcarad, risked my life to mine this iron ore, burnt some dough, tried again, nice wee loaf this time, swiftly in and out of the ham hideout in case someone killed me in there. I got a wizard to teleport me to this mining area, and then I realised that another diary task was actually to pickpocket the ham people, so back over there I went, stuck my hand in a few pockets and pulled out a rusty sword, took it to this guy who turned it into an iron sword, and then most of the other Lumbridge and Arty diary stuff felt a bit too risky for me still, so I just panicked and cut trees instead. Cut tree, forestry, cut tree, clue scroll, hot and cold, banked. Clue number 2, can I do, dropped, chop tree, chop head, tree again, XP, level 60, unlocked use, cut a few, got a stew, candle 2, found Sherlock and an imp, beat for me on number 3, few more, number 4. With 4 obtained, XP was gained, another quest, ladder press, blanket swiped, monk was hyped, threw a party, moved my body, herding sheep, 1 hour deep, finally close, 1 more poke, sheep got stuck, just my luck, tried again, in the pen, next is kin, jumped on in, number 3 was sort of easy, but red melted my head, near enough, nope, it's stuck, kept on poking, blindly hoping, eventually, that was me, it was all for in, quest in the bin. Wasn't fun, thank fuck it's done.